Hey, what's up? This is Seth Green, and you are listening to Somewhere in Vegas with Mark, and I am so hot, I would desperately like a glass of water. Please, please, give me some water.
This is Cindy Preston, and I'm with Mark on Somewhere in Vegas.
Hi, this is Melissa Peterman from CMT's The Singing Bee and the television show Reba. And I have to tell you, I just have to get it off my chest, I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi there. This is Faith Roscoe from General Hospital. You're listening to Mark on Somewhere in Vegas. And you better watch out. We know how to find you if you're not listening.
Hi, this is Shannon Egan from Whippet, and I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hey, this is Lee Allen Baker with Somewhere in Vegas, talking with Mark with a Q.
This is Courtney Cronin. You're listening to Somewhere in Vegas with your host, Mark, and I would make sure to listen every week because he's a sure bet.
Hey, this is the Money Man, Eddie Money. I got 2 tickets to Paradise, and you know what? It's Somewhere in Vegas. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Hi, this is Crystal Gale, and I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi, this is Terry Nunn from Berlin, and you're listening to Mark Somewhere in Vegas.
Hi, this is Miracle Laurie from Joss Whedon's Dollhouse. There are 3 flowers in a vase, and I'm listening to Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi, this is Erin Hill, and you are listening to Mark on Blog Talk Radio and Somewhere in Vegas. Mark is a great guy.
Hi, this is Sean Pulaski. I'm still trying to figure out Mark Pico's sexuality, but I know you're listening to Somewhere Live in Vegas.
Here you go, Mark. I'm sorry. I thought you were she. I'm sorry. Get out of the tent. Let's get out of here.
Hey, this is Lance and Anna from Free Radio. And Anna?
And you're listening to Somewhere in Vegas.
Yes.
My favorite.
You know, that's usually what happens with me. I go to Vegas and I get lost, and so I end up somewhere in Vegas.
Somewhere in Vegas.
But I just don't know where it is.
Not quite sure.
Yeah, word.
Get ready. It's going to be hot. It's in Vegas. Check out Mark. Be there or be square.
My guest at this time is a very hilarious woman. She is a teacher and a really great gal out of Second City, the legendary Second City out of Chicago, which had some of the biggest names in comedy come out of that as well. Her new show is called Wisecrackin Comedy. You guys can check that out every Friday on wisecrackincomedy.com. And she's also on...
It's just wisecrackin.com.
Wisecrackin.com, sorry. And you can also catch her on Nailed It on Netflix. We have Angie McMahon on with us right now. How you doing, Angie?
Hi, good. So glad to be here.
How's it looking up there in Chicago?
It's actually gorgeous today. As soon as I get off with you, me and my girls are going for a walk. It's like 50 outside. It's beautiful and the sun's out.
It's very weird because right now it is in the 50s down here in Vegas as well. So it's kind of crazy to think that the northern part of the country has yet to see any considering cold temperatures or any snow. So
yeah. Yeah, no, it's gorgeous here today.
Yeah, I mean, how is it out there? I mean, obviously, you know, with COVID, not a lot of people out, but how is it in terms of decorations and Christmas? Are we seeing a lot of like Christmassy stuff up and around?
Yeah, where we live, our neighborhood is really into decorating. So like they go all out for Halloween, and all the houses, I don't know if they did this in Vegas, but all of the houses had candy chutes. So it was like a big tube from the top of the stairs, because most of the brick bungalows, like they have a staircase out in front. So they had big candy chutes that would go from the top of the stairs to the bottom of the stairs. And the kids walked up and put their bucket at the candy chute, and the person shot the candy down into the bucket, and then the kids walked away. So like my whole neighborhood had candy chutes and total like normal huge Halloween decorations. And all of those people took them down, and all the Christmas decorations are up now. All the trees are lit up. All the bushes are lit up.
Oh, well, that's great. I mean, like you said, it kind of is a bummer. I mean, with everything going on right now, at least we got some quality spirit going on. So it's great to hear that that's going down there. I mean, I think we've got quite a few decorations out right around here as well. So, so yeah, I mean, it's great to be able to see that as well. And, you know, I mean, obviously right now the comedy scene's a little bit, you know, a little bit on hold. There are some comedy clubs that are now open. Depending on where you're at, several comedians are doing some touring as well. I mean, what's the scene like out in Chicago? Is it a situation where some of the comedy clubs are open, or are they completely closed up there?
We were in August. We had probably 3 clubs open. Second City has not. and probably won't until, well, we won't until everything's lifted. But yeah, Zanies and Laugh Factory and the Improv in Chicago were open probably only for 3 weeks, and then they got shut down again. So, I mean, not even enough time for a headliner to come in. Like, and it was all local guys, you know, and that was great. Everybody wanted to work. Everyone wanted to get, you know, who wouldn't listen? You know, the owner of Zanies, Bert Haas, says, like, can you do 5 minutes tonight? You're like, let me get in the car, right? So it was a weird 3 weeks, because especially for my talent, because a lot of them were pulled out. There was outdoor shows. There was quite a few like drive-in shows and outdoor shows and beer garden shows, but it's cold now and there's no indoor dining right now. You can do outdoor dining, but today's gorgeous, but it's getting cold. So it's not comfortable to sit outside, let alone watch a comedy show. But yeah, we did for 3 weeks have clubs open and they did great. They did amazing with the sanitation. Curtis over at the Laugh Factory is a goddamn saint. He was like, no one is showing up and seeing if they can get on. No one is coming to watch your friends. Like, this is serious shit. If you aren't booked, do not come to the club. I mean, he was like on it and everything stayed so safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, the thing is that in times like this, you really do need comedy. You really need to laugh a little bit because it is, so much stressful. And a lot of people are like stuck in their houses. They're stuck there. They can't go anywhere or whatever, and it is getting kind of stir crazy down here in Vegas. I mean, obviously there's things that are open. I think the governor just said that, for the next 3 weeks, things are pretty much shut down. So people want to get out. They want to see something. They want to do something, and all that as well.
And people are nervous about going out. There's a lot of people who are nervous about going out, especially because the numbers are just going up and up and up. They close at 5? Okay. Do you know are you sure they don't close at 6? Yeah. I'm in an interview. Thanks, guys. Sorry. No one can, they don't Google. They just come to me like, what time does it close? Like, why do I know all of the store's hours? See, like tonight, every Wednesday, we've been ordering out from a local place like right by us. So we just order it out to try to support them. That's the best we can do right now.
Yeah,
But some people are really nervous about going out. I know a lot of people who are still, especially if you have someone in your family who's immune compromised, you're going to be more cautious and nervous about going out. We're all just one grocery shopping trip away from this shit. Oh,
yeah.
Not curse. I'm sorry.
That's fine. You can if you want. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy. And then it's kind of, kind of like you said, the scene right now is just kind of crazy as well. I mean, obviously with your show, we're trying to figure out, ways where people can get, get jokes and be able to laugh a little bit, like you said, through whatever's going on right now. So, I mean, it's great to be able to have an outlet like yours. I mean, talk a little bit about the process. Tell me a little bit about the idea of Wisecrackin, and tell me what the concept behind the show.
Sure. Yeah. So, we're going all through this. I started thinking about doing some interactive virtual events for some clients of mine that I write for, social media and stuff. And I said, what if we did a live event and we did like trivia or something with the puppet, like I work with puppets. And I was like, we could have the puppets host things. And, she wasn't like super interested. And like a couple of my other clients I pitched it to, and they were just like, I don't want to do a show. Like, we wanted to do an event, but we don't want to do a Zoom show. That's weird. So I was like, I really think that there's something interesting in this idea of this time, like a show of this moment. Because there's all these Zoom shows. And I called Mars Timms, who's one of my dearest friends and collaborators. And I said, are you doing shows? Are you doing these Zoom shows? He said, no, they're fucking terrible. He said, I'm not doing podcast. All I'm doing is podcasts and interviews until this shit's done. I'm not doing these Zoom shows because they're terrible. You're talking to a quiet space. You're telling jokes to a quiet space while a scroll of conversation that has nothing to do with you is going next to your face with people who may or may not feel like they want to leave because it's not going awesome, but they don't want to hurt your feelings. There's only 10 people there. It's fucking terrible. It's nothing like a club experience or a theater experience. There's no way to recreate that. And that's the problem with the Zoom shows. We're trying to recreate something that cannot be created for this time. So Mars and I talked. I said, what if we do this? What if we had the comics in a closed Zoom room and we have them do a game show? So they have to write a punchline to a setup they've never seen. So the comics are still, they're being creative, they're being spontaneous, they're writing jokes, and they're in the room together. And they're it's kind of that dinner for six feeling, right? That old Jon Favreau show where we're here together and we're playing and having a good time. That then gets streamed out to Twitch and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook. And people can go into the chat and then make comments on what we're doing. And we get to pick the moment when we want that comment to show or not. We do audience challenges throughout the show, asking them to participate in the chat. But the other thing is they can vote live on their favorite punchline. The audience can throw the whole game off and decide they like this. But like the comedians get to vote for each other too. And it's all kind of a blind vote. But then the audience votes, and the audience can overturn that vote if there's enough of them in there. So it really is the only way I could figure out how to make a theatrical experience out of this moment. It's interactive. It is live. It is spontaneous. It's mixing improvisation, stand-up, and storytelling. We play an intermission game that usually has a lot of improv, like dubbing over a movie. So that's what makes this show unique. And I have 22 writers in my writer's room who write a brand new show every week for us.
You know, I mean, it's amazing that, you know, the concept I think is really interesting. Just the fact that comedians have to think off the top of their head. There's a, you know, huge kind of gap between, I've talked to comedians in the past about this. It's pretty interesting. I mean, we've got the idea of improv versus stand-up comedy. And, you know, I guess the best way to put it is sword fighting versus fencing. You know, they two different swords, but if you know both of them, you're going to know a lot about, you know, it's going to help you learn about one and the other. So the show seems to be a little bit of the, you know, being able to get the comedians to start thinking a little bit on their feet, because sometimes on the stage a punchline may go awry, or maybe, you know, the audience reacts to something that you said, and then you don't have anything necessarily written down for that. So you kind of have to think off your feet what direction you kind of want to go to. And in improv, you just don't have a script. It's something that you do off the top of your head. So it's a very interesting concept in terms of that as well. I mean, obviously, if you being from Second City, you kind of obviously know that, you know, with, you know, having worked both angles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't consider myself a stand-up at all. I've done stand-up and I teach stand-up, but it's not my drug of choice. So I would still call myself a comedian though. And I'm still able to write jokes, because in sketch comedy, we write jokes. I would say sketch comedy is closer to stand-up because there's more calculation and writing involved than improv. Improv is more in conversation with the audience, right? I mean, all comedy is in conversation with the audience, but improv truly is, because the audience can change the direction of the scene in real time with their reactions. Stand-up and sketch are much closer, I think.
Yeah, you know, I mean, in stand-up, I mean, once you get past the, you know, common initial breaks that you have, I mean, once you get, you know, you get through the first year or so of doing routines, then after that, you start to develop the what'll be, you know, what'll be your set, what'll be your thing, what will be your theme throughout the whole comedy bit. And that's very simple. What sketches, you know, basically writing down what a story is, and that's what you're doing eventually when you start becoming the upper level of stand-up, is just telling a story. It's just have more people involved, and, you know, you're acting out a scene versus having the, you know, to kind of just be a narrator basically. Right. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. But like I said, there are tools that you can use in each one of those to kind of go into what you're, you know, that help each other in the tools that you're using. So it's great to be able to, you know, kind of see that. And, you know, if I'd recommend comics, maybe take a little bit of improv just to kind of get their mind going like that. Or,
I recommend improvisers take a stand-up class and learn how to stand there by yourself and tell a joke without relying on your